A news report blares, warning Gotham's citizens to stay indoors as Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask, floods the city with weapons and masks, fueling the party animal's violent takeover. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes through the gym as Croc hears someone break in, readying himself for a fight. As he steps closer, he realizes the intruder is none other than his old friend Bruce Wayne, bloodied, exhausted, and barely standing. Croc demands to know who did this to him and why. Bruce, still catching his breath, delivers a shocking revelation. "Because I'm Batman, and I need your help." We transition to Bruce's past, where a warm and carefree night unfolds as young Bruce and his friends joke around during a sleepover, with his mother watching over them. The laughter is cut short when a stranger suddenly enters the room. Bruce's mother, sensing danger, stands her ground, pleading for mercy as the intruder raises a gun at her. A deafening gunshot erupts, silhouetting her against the red blast as Bruce cries out in horror. Bruce jolts awake, screaming from the nightmare that haunts him, his fear still gripping him even as reality settles in. Standing in the shadows, he hesitates before his mother's calming voice draws him in. Without a word, she welcomes him into her embrace, offering warmth and reassurance. As they sit together, Bruce rests his head against her, comforted by the quiet presence of the one person who makes him feel safe. Martha Wayne and Jim Gordon find themselves in the middle of chaos as crates filled with weapons and masks flood the streets, courtesy of Sionis. Curious and horrified, Martha puts on one of the masks and sees a chilling interface displaying crime incentives and high-value targets, with Jim marked for assassination at $1 million bounty. As tensions rise, a man in the crowd points a gun at Jim, ready to claim the reward. Martha urgently warns Jim that he's a target, but instead of running, she stands her ground, declaring that as deputy mayor, she won't abandon him. Julia Pennyworth rides the train while talking on the phone, assuring someone that she'll be home soon. Mid-conversation, she receives an emergency alert about a citywide stay-at-home order. Unaware of the growing danger, she continues her call as masked party animals lurk in the train, one of them stepping into her subway car. Before she can react, the masked figure grabs her, cutting off her conversation. The scene turns violent as Julia struggles, her fate uncertain. Meanwhile, Ozzy angrily confronts Bruce for keeping his identity as Batman a secret. Despite his frustration, he pilots the plane toward their destination while ranting about how others in Gotham will react to the revelation. Batman focuses on the mission, explaining that Black Mask's network is too large to take down completely. But if their servers are on the yacht, destroying it could cripple the operation. Spotting the target, Ozzy marks the location while Batman prepares to jump. As Ozzy warns that he won't stick around for a rescue, Batman leaps from the plane. Batman plummets through the stormy night sky, his cape billowing like the wings of a shadowy predator. Lightning flashes behind him, illuminating his determined descent. He crashes onto Black Mask's yacht, landing directly on one of Siona's goons, instantly taking him out. Scanning his surroundings, he quickly grabs a life jacket and forcefully wraps it around the thug's neck, tossing him overboard. The goon flails in the water, realizing too late that he's been spared rather than drowned. As Batman regains his footing, a furious baby Sionis charges at him, screaming in rage. He lunges at Batman, only to be effortlessly overpowered and wrapped in a life jacket. Baby Sionis protests, claiming he's just a kid, but Batman remains unfazed and viciously kicks him overboard. As Batman surveys the deck, he turns to see Sionis' girlfriend standing nearby. Without hesitation, she leaps off the yacht, seemingly choosing escape over confrontation against a vengeful Batman. The scene transitions to Bruce's past, where he sits beside his mother as she organizes old photographs. She shares memories with him, showing pictures from before he was born, including one of his father with long hair from his band days. They laugh at how corny it all seems, flipping through snapshots of Bruce's early years, including his first steps. As they continue, Bruce points to a particular photo, expressing his love for it. His tone shifts as he reveals its significance, noting that his father took it the morning of a class trip. The scene transitions back to Bruce's present, where Martha Wayne and Jim Gordon stand their ground against desperate citizens trying to seize the crates of masks and weapons supplied by Sionis. Martha argues that the masks are dangerous tools of chaos, while a furious citizen blames Gotham's downfall on those in power. The party animals, already wearing the masks, scan Martha and Jim, revealing their million-dollar bounties. Realizing their targets are worth a fortune, one of the masked figures urges the others to act quickly. Julia and Alfred argue aboard a private jet as she insists on returning to Gotham to be with the people she cares about. Alfred, concerned for her safety, urges her to wait until the city is secure, warning her about the destruction Black Mask leaves behind. Julia recalls how, as a child, she packed a suitcase hoping Alfred would take her with him on his travels, but he never did. Now, she refuses to be left behind again, making it clear that if they take off, she no longer considers him her father. After a long pause, Alfred gives the final order. "Wheels up, Captain." Sionis leaps from the balcony, but Batman swiftly counters with a powerful kick to his chest, sending him crashing into the wall. Wasting no time, Batman charges forward, spearing Sionis straight through the wall, and they both land hard inside a bowling alley. As Sionis struggles to recover, Batman picks up a bowling ball, his expression cold and determined. Without hesitation, he brutally smashes it against Sionis' head, the impact cracking against his skull. Each blow lands with unrelenting force, leaving Sionis bloodied and dazed. Batman drives Sionis through another wall, and they crash onto a floor with Batman landing on top. Without hesitation, Batman unleashes a relentless barrage of punches, pounding Sionis' face with brutal force. Sionis, dazed but cunning, secretly pulls out a rope while Batman demands he keep talking. As Batman prepares for another strike, Black Mask suddenly loops the rope around his neck and tightens his grip. As he tightens the rope around Batman's neck with such force that his neck begins to bleed profusely, Batman struggles, gasping for air. The panels shift between the present fight and Bruce's past, where his mother comforts him with stories about hope and resilience. She reflects on how his father remained hopeful, even in the toughest times, believing in a better future. Meanwhile, in the present, Roman cruelly reminisces about the best sound in the world, the shriek of someone realizing they've lost. In the final panel, Batman, despite the struggle, smirks and asks, "Did it sound anything like this?" as the pointed tips of his mask rotate downward toward Sionis. Batman drives the pointed tips of his mask straight into Sionis' helmet, piercing exactly where his eye sockets would be. Sionis lets out a blood-curdling scream as his mask cracks from the brutal impact. A party animal scans Jim and Martha with his mask, seeing their million-dollar bounties and preparing to cash in. Meanwhile, Batman drags Sionis by the life vest wrapped around his neck and hurls him off the yacht into the water. Back on land, the party animals continue threatening Jim and Martha, weapons drawn as tensions rise. Batman moves through Sionis' server room, methodically planting explosives while the confrontation with the party animals escalates. As the final moments unfold, Batman detonates the charges, triggering a massive explosion that consumes Sionis' yacht. Martha reassures young Bruce that while she will pass away one day, it won't be for a long time, comforting him with her presence. In the present, the party animals prepare to execute Martha and Jim, but their masks suddenly fail as Batman's destruction of Sionis' server room disrupts the system. Confused and frustrated, they realize the bounties are gone, leaving them without incentive. Meanwhile, narration from the past continues as Martha encourages Bruce to face hardships with determination rather than fear. As Bruce sinks into the water after escaping Sionis' exploding yacht, narration from his mother's past words reminds him how to face pain and fight against nightmares. Her words echo over images of his struggle, emphasizing resilience and the will to keep going. Alfred arrives in a sub, pulling Bruce from the water and refusing to leave him behind. Exhausted and battered, Bruce slumps onto the deck while Alfred, ever the caretaker, begins tending to his wounds. In a chilling epilogue, a suited man informs the Joker that Sionis is facing trouble in Gotham City. The Joker, looking terrifyingly intense, sits with grotesque, bloodied infant-like creatures clinging to his body, their presence unnatural and disturbing. One of the creatures slowly opens its eyes as if reacting to the conversation. With eerie composure, the Joker declares that it's time, his outstretched hand emphasizing his intent. His final command is simple but ominous. Get Bane. Absolute Batman issue 6 delivers a scorching finale to the series' opening arc. The writer and artist have distilled Batman's story down to its most raw and fundamental essence, and I can't imagine a more fitting way to close out the zoo. The Absolute Batman series stands as a shining example of storytelling at its finest, where writer, narrative, artwork, and visuals come together in flawless unison.